Welcome to Making Vinyl Conference 2018. I'm Mitch, here from Black Circle Radio. We have Eric from Furnace Records. What's up?
Mitch.
Dude.
I'm happy to be here.
So, can you tell me a little bit just about, Furnace does so much stuff. Like, what's your Cliff Notes version of what you're doing in the industry and what you're trying to get out of this conference?
I've been doing this record stuff since I was 15, so I was in a band, several bands. We probably weren't very good, and we wanted to put out a record, and no one wanted to, so we decided, all right, we'll take the Discord Records model and just do it ourselves. Yeah. So, we would put out cassettes, and then we started putting out 7-inches, and we had, I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, so we had 2 record pressing plants in Phoenix, and we just put it out, put in ads in Maximum Rock and Roll and Flipside and different punk magazines, and we would sell thousands of 7-inches just through the mail. And
what year was this?
It was like 86, 87.
Okay, yeah.
And then, just things, this is all I've done, so, I moved to the East Coast, I started another record label, and then we were having a hard time getting distribution, so we started a distribution company, and that's really where Furnace came out of, because we had a lot of labels that were coming to me. I knew how to do a little bit of computer graphics early on, so I was really good at, laying stuff out, getting film done, getting proofs done. So I was doing a lot of those things for the labels that we distributed, and it became a business because we didn't make any money on the label side or the distribution side.
Oh, okay.
So that's basically where Furnace came from, is 22 years ago. And so we became a broker. We were brokering vinyl and CDs, vinyl for a very short amount of time, doing a lot of CDs and DVDs. And then about 10 years ago, we got approached by a major label and some smaller labels that were saying we're having a hard time finding high quality records, because at the time RTI, and there's still a great plant, and sure, they were the ones that were really making very high quality records, and they had a long lead time, because even before this whole renaissance happened, people that were serious about vinyl, the people that were serious were looking for quality. So we partnered with a plant in Europe called the Palace Group, and they're in Germany, and they've been pressing very high quality records for a long time. So we had always been, doing packaging, and we knew we had that system already built. So we just had to up our game. So we started importing records from them, and then when we filled their capacity, we started working with another plant over there, and it just got to the point where we said, if we're going to grow, we need to build a plant. And that was.
So what year was that decision?
So that was probably like 3.5, 4 years ago.
Oh, that's so exciting, man.
Yeah, so we built this 50,000 square foot facility. We got 14 record presses.
So how many records a day is that you're looking to crank out?
Well, every estimate that I'll give, you can cut it in half and slice it and dice it.
Yeah.
But usually when the records, the presses are running well, you can get, in a shift 1,000 records a machine. So, and that's if you don't have a bunch of color changeovers and stamper changeovers. If the presses are running, you could usually hit those numbers, but nothing ever goes as planned, as everyone, you'll hear these panelists talk about. But, that's the goal. And
sure,
and the key is, just finding good people. So we've had tremendous luck, and we've been fortunate enough for many people in the industry to help us out. So, it's when you think that you know what you're doing and you make decisions that way that you start to run into trouble. So, but this industry, I'd say, in the U.S. is very collaborative. People are very generous and very willing to spend time. And I know I'm a process person. I'm not the technical person on the line pressing records, but I'm a good process person when it comes to how everything fits together, how packaging works. Packaging is really, really tough. We're doing a Metallica box set that has 17 pieces in it, and it weighs 12 pounds each. And when you're doing something like that, and there's 30 people on an assembly line that has to work, they're working together. You have to have a process when it comes to that. when it comes to your systems, your computer, your database, all that stuff.
You're just talking about process and everything, and me as a broadcaster, I end with the final product, right? It's already been through everyone's hands. It's been through the pressing plant. It's got shipped to my house, like all that stuff. But so the process that you're talking about, getting a box set or something like that as a consumer, it's a process unpacking it. I mean, it's a whole experience. And so you need minds like yours in the industry that have that foresight to know, okay, when this arrives in the person's house that's going to spend all the money on this thing, they're going to have a memorable experience. And so I think that's super cool that's like how your process is going about this whole thing.
Well, I also was on the, I had a record label, I ran a distribution company, I had a record store. So I've been in a band that sells records on tour. So I've been on all those little touch points, So when I do something at Furnace, when we decide we're going to do something at Furnace, I know how every point in the supply chain is going to, react, or how it's going to affect them.
Yeah.
Because I know if a record store gets a dented corner, they can't sell a record and they can't return it. Time is precious.
Yeah.
If someone's expecting 1,000 records and 300 are damaged and they've already pre-sold 900, we know what kind of hell they're going through with customer complaints and stores not getting allocations. So we do as much as we can on the front end to make sure that they don't have to go through that. And what I tell my people that are talking to labels and stuff is we need the whole company. We need to be the company that people say, well, why wouldn't we work with Furnace? At the end of the day, we're working for our customers, and it doesn't matter what we do, whether it's right or wrong, and whether we're right or wrong. It's about what their perception is. So, and I hate when people have a bad experience. So we learn from it and we build from it.
Thank you so much, Eric. This is Eric from Furnace Record Pressing, and we're going to have a bunch of cool interviews coming up later in the day.